Okay, guys, today we have Matt Box here to talk about his experience with our Couch to 5K program. On Tuesday this week, I actually joined Matt and the Faster Couch to 5K members for their first 45-minute non-stop run. Matt, it was a fantastic evening. 6.5K it was by the end of that 45 minutes. So this is the faster group. How did that feel to finish that, Matt?
Felt good. It's been a while since I've done that distance, so yeah, it was hard but worth it.
Yeah, excellent. So you've obviously done quite a bit of running in the past. Where were you at your peak, and how long ago was that?
10 years ago, um, my 5K best 5K was 22:32,
Wow.
and I was regularly running 10 to 14K over hills. So I was at, at the time I didn't realise it, but it's one of those things now when I'm less fit, I realise what I had and what I've lost.
Yeah,
Hence, I'm
yeah.
with you, Connor, to try and regain some of that. Although I'm 10 years older, but there's no reason why I couldn't be doing those distances.
And why did you stop running anyway?
Two reasons. One was time, a young family, and not finding the time. And secondly, for a period of time, I moved to gym and weights to tone down, not to tone up. I didn't lift weights to bulk up. I used them to stay trim. But then I thought I could immediately get back into the running, and of course you can't because you all those ligaments and tendons and muscles that you haven't been using. But also the time aspect. Um, Many of us have periods where we have young children, and particularly in the first year, it can be really difficult because you can be up all hours and then having to hold down a job. But then it's finding the right moment where you think, yeah, I can take some time for myself without compromising family life, and it's that give and take. So that's why I've come back to
Mm.
running now.
Yeah, fantastic. And for a lot of people who have done that in the past, they may think, well, I wouldn't want to do a Couch to 5K program. I don't need this. The Couch to 5K is a decent investment, isn't it? There's a lot of support and whatnot that goes into it. Um, so, you know, why did you feel like this was the right sort of program for you at this time?
You hit the nail on the head. It's the right program for me because I tried to get back into running post COVID and did it all off my own back in a gym. And I immediately started getting injuries. And it's a classic example of pushing too hard, too fast. My Achilles were flaring up. And basically, it got to a stage where I'd have to stop for 3 weeks at a go, and you realise you're getting absolutely nowhere. So I ended up doing spin for a year, which I'm not denigrating spin, but it's not what gives me great enjoyment. Whereas I prefer to be out running. So I wanted to do the Couch 5K, and I was quite happy to do the Couch 5K because of the coaching you get, and it's not your professionalism knows when to push someone along a bit and when to be holding them back to avoid anything other than the odd niggle, but to avoid those injuries. And that's where it's really been important because you'll know a few weeks ago I was probably pushing too hard, and it's a case of just relaxing, just calm down. It's just about getting the kilometres in your legs, not pushing the times.
Yeah, fantastic. So you came along to the beginners 3-week trial. And what was that experience like? Showing up to your first run with the group.
It was very relaxed. It was a very mixed ability group, which is great. I've always worked that way. The thing I like about running, you can have you're really elite level or semi elite level through to somebody who just wants to knock out 5K in 40 minutes. Okay, there's no one's looking down on anyone else. Everyone's just enjoying their running, right? Because we're all enjoying the same thing and doing it to the ability we want to do it to. So that's what I found with the group straight away, and then I knew I could relax. So turning up again, there was no pressure. It was very relaxed, and again we started off slowly. It was a bit of a shock to me how unfit I got from 10 years ago, but I rapidly progressed, probably because of that core fitness that kind of comes back within a few weeks.
Yeah. And you went straight into the faster group. So there's obviously a bit of confidence there based on the experience you've had in the past. Yeah, I can remember there was two or three really quite quick young runners in that group, wasn't there? And they pushed the pace a bit more than I was expecting, and had to sort of rein them back. And in the end, actually, I pushed them on to a non-stop running group, and it's really interesting, like talking to you, because you potentially could have done the same, but you chose the conservative option, and you've got through injury free. I think we've had some challenges along the way, but you've got through. You finished that Couch to 5K in 10 weeks as planned. Um, Whereas there are two that pushed on, and they've now been injured, and they've had to go and see physio and all sorts, which is awful. And we had one of them back last night for her first session, which is great. She's making a recovery, and the other one is as well. But it's really, and I also, as you know, coming back from injury myself, I had to be very disciplined to say, no, I know I can run 5K nonstop now, but my Achilles would probably flare up, and I had to commit myself to going through the whole program, not saying halfway through, oh, I think I can run now, and that's actually working really well for me. So this intake has had a really big impact on me, and thinking, well, actually, a lot of people, we've got to be careful with them. I think you're better off doing something like this than taking the risk of jumping into a non-stop running program and getting injured. So can you tell us a bit about you had some challenges along the way. Achilles was one. Are there any other niggles that you had flare up throughout either the trial or the actual program itself?
Yeah, there's been various things. They've all been niggles, uh, just the usual stuff with Achilles and everything around the ankle area, the muscle joining your foot to your shin, and then around the knee. But the knee was the most difficult one for 1 week. I was getting a lot of pain, but couldn't tell anyone specifically where it was. So it was one of those, not an injury, but quite painful niggle that went away. I rested one session during that week, and I think that helped. I didn't run one session, which occasionally you've got to do, I think. But then I went to a chiropractor, which I regularly do for my back anyway, and they looked at my lower leg and could see there was just a tightness with the muscle joining the shin to the foot, and immediately relieved it with some flexing. So it's been great since. So I'll make that a regular part of the checkup from now on. But that's all. It's that I think it would be the natural strengthening of all the tendons and muscles that haven't been used for a few years, and that's where you pick up the injuries, because you think you can run before you can jog, really.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess that goes back to what we were just talking about with the rate of progression, isn't it? Lungs wise, you could have progressed much faster, but actually we needed those walking breaks and to hold just the speed back to ensure that the muscles and the tendons and ligaments all had their chance to adapt to the stress. And I guess you were lucky. It only took a bit of rest and a chiropractor session. That's great that you did that. That you already had that set up. What about any self treatment? Even do any stretching or massage?
I do some stretching, natural stretching. I'm very desk based in my day to day work, so it's I do take the time to get up, stretch the calves during the day. Otherwise, they get very, very tight, which could lead to injury.
Yeah, absolutely. Calves are most common area to really struggle when you're coming back to running. So, what's it been like running with the guys, coming to club runs? You've been regularly attending. I think you've got on really well with the guys. What's it been like being part of a program like this?
It's it's there's so many aspects to it. The camaraderie, obviously. There's a whole range of ages, both genders, and everyone's on a different ability level, really. But that camaraderie is great, and we all have days where we don't feel like going for a run, and it forces you to go because you almost don't want to let the group down, and from a personal perspective, don't want to fall behind with the group. So that's where it's great. Whereas if you're completely on your own, you can slip into the are you motivated or are you not? Whereas having the group, it's about discipline. And I think running, if you want to make a running part of your life, it's a discipline. It's not about motivation. It's about the discipline. It's like going to work. Whether you're motivated that morning or not, you go because you're disciplined to go. And that's the key with running with a group. And then when you're out and about, you can, over 5K, you can just be having a comfortable conversation, which again shows how your cardio has progressed since January when we started this. It's very straightforward now to talk all the way around, which we couldn't, none of us could do. So when you think about it, it shows that progression as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that WhatsApp group's been pretty active as well. Members sharing, whether it just be the screenshot from Runkeeper or, talking about how disastrous their run went by themselves and how much harder it is, or photos of their holidays and things. It has been a really good group of members. I've really enjoyed the chat and just the positivity that comes from people congratulating one another for getting out and doing a run by themselves, and obviously group photos and things. So, any particular kind of lessons that you'd take away from this program?
Listen to the coaching. Part of the good thing about this program is you've got your coaching. You're almost one to one, watching us having that conversation almost 5 days a week, where you can advise and guide us, and listen, first of all, listening to that, because that's the thing that keeps you injury free. It's no good running and then being injured 2 weeks later and then having to sit out for 4 weeks. You just lose all that momentum. So that's brilliant. The camaraderie, there's been some real friendships formed with the group, and that's been great. And again, that when someone's feeling down, they can be picked up by the group. If someone's missed a couple of sessions because of illness, it's not an issue. We stick together. You can easily pick that back up. And it sounds daft, but getting out in the fresh air, it doesn't matter whether it's January and it's dark, and you have to be a bit wrapped up, or now the weather's warmer and drier. Getting out and about, and the mental lift that gives you, the how it clears your mind, having a run when you're just focusing on your breathing and each step and your cadence. I find it, from a pressurized office environment, it's a great way of letting go of that and just clearing your mind. So it's not just the physical fitness, but it's the mental health benefit it can give everyone as well.
No, absolutely. I just love, no matter how good or bad the rest of your life's going, you can always look back and think about your next run or, the progress you've made. So, yeah, from a mental health perspective, I think it's fantastic. So, what next then? You've got up to 6.5K. We don't need to go any further than that tonight, but beyond, obviously you'll merge in with the non-stop running groups next week. So you'll be doing interval training and tempo runs and non-stop runs, 35 to 45 minutes, which we know you can do now. And the weekend will become a long run. So what would you like to achieve maybe over the next, I don't know, 4 to 6 months, so beyond this program?
I'd definitely like to push on so that 10K is regularly comfortable would be the next step for me. I'm very, very determined in that, just stepping on the distance. And I suppose that'll involve a number of things, like you say, the longer runs, but also some tempo work and leg speed work. Because my previous experience is it helps to push the 5K times a little bit as part of that. But you also need to be doing the distance work. And then a bit of a combination with some other things is what gets you up to comfortable longer distance. So that would be the next aim. And then potentially even longer than that would be pushing on for a half marathon, which I've never formally done. But as I said, that might be next year, but that's fine because I just want to progress gradually, and it's all moving forward. It's all good.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I think you'll get close to 10K by the end of your 16-week program. So, we've got 6 weeks left beyond this week. So those long runs on the weekend will become all about your endurance, your distance. So just gradually increasing that each week. The aim is to get you up to 8 kilometers non-stop by the end of that 16-week program. And whereas the midweek runs will be all about your speed, your tempo runs all about that 5K speed, and the interval training is all about buffering headwinds and running up hills, so that you never find yourself really in trouble, or you're able to recover much quicker from those really high intensity periods. So there's loads to look forward to. I think 10K is very realistic for autumn. I think will be you could be in a great place for autumn. Obviously, it depends how well you can train through summer. It is a challenging time, especially if you're going away for holidays and things. But it sounds like you're enjoying it a lot. So there's always going to be the motivation to get out. It's cool. So I guess looking to wrap up, but what would you say to anyone who maybe is watching this video and thinking, maybe they'd like to do a Couch to 5K, maybe they'd like to be in your shoes and having just finished and looking at, whether to run further in the future? Would you recommend the club's Couch to 5K program to others?
I definitely recommend the club and the program to anyone. And I'd say to them, just give it a try. It's not a pressured environment. It's not somewhere where you have to be self-conscious. No one there is gonna make you feel that way. It's your running, but the chance to progress with other people and with their support, it's great. And one of the things that held me back was that self-consciousness. As a teenager, I did no work in the gym and no exercise because I thought, you have to be Mo Farah to run. What's the point? And it's obviously nonsense. Like anyone can run, save for injury. Anyone, and it's enjoying your run to your ability, and all those benefits that come with it, from health to mental health. So I'd say just go for it. Give it a try. It's really enjoyable.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you, Matt. All right, mate. Well, thanks for coming on, and we'll see you at the club run tonight.
Yep. See you later.